It is I, John O'Dragan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from Shadyside, Ohio, where we still and always will honor the service and sacrifices of our brave men and women in the military. Let me tell you something. I saw where the combat troops crossed over the border into Kuwait and are coming home. That is great news. But there they were to greet our troops. The left-wing wackos at MSNBC. I can think of no greater insult to those troops than to have those left-wing wackos at MSNBC greet them at the Kuwait border. Why? Because I remember when the going was tough in the Iraq war and the casualties were mounting, what did these left-wing wackos at MSNBC and CNN in particular do? They would roll the names of our honored dead on the television screen in order to make political points. It was absolutely disgusting, and it will never be forgiven. But since MSNBC and the left-wing wackos were there, I am sure glad that they would be to hear this from their president. And this is what he had to say about the withdrawal of the combat troops. Quote, over the last 18 months, over 90,000 U.S. troops have left Iraq. By the end of this month, only 50,000 troops will be serving in Iraq. As Iraqi security forces take responsibility for service for their country, our troops will move to an advise and assist role. And consistent with our agreement with the Iraqi government, all of our troops will be out of Iraq by the end of next year. Meanwhile, we will continue to build a strong partnership with the Iraqi people with increased civilian commitment and diplomatic effort. Now, that is quite a statement. But what do you notice that's missing from that little statement from our commissar-in-chief? The word victory. Because the left-wing wackos and President Obama can't say the word victory. If they did, their tongue should surely turn to flame. Now remember, it was these left-wing wackos, including President Obama, who opposed the surge, who opposed the war. And now that victory has been achieved, they can't even say that word. Well, by God, I can say it, and I'm going to. Our troops were victorious, despite the best efforts of the damn Democrats and their willing accomplices in the media. They still won the war. Now, I'm going to say something about this war because it needs to be said. I want to address the situation about the weapons of mass destruction. We have heard all these anti-war wackos try and tell us that there were no weapons of mass destruction. That is a bunch of utter nonsense. There were thousands upon thousands of Kurds that were gassed out of existence by Saddam Hussein. Now, that means that he had weapons of mass destruction. Now, that might not mean that he had them at the time, but there can be no doubt that this man wanted us to believe that he had weapons of mass destruction. In his debriefing with the FBI after the war and before he was executed, he told us, no, I didn't have weapons of mass destruction, but I wanted everyone to believe that I did so that we wouldn't be invaded. So guess what? It worked. The whole world thought he had weapons of mass destruction. It just wasn't President Bush. It was everybody. There wasn't anybody that didn't think he had weapons of mass destruction. Hillary Clinton and the Democrats said, Bush, do something. Step up. Go in there. Get rid of this man. Not only did he have weapons of mass destruction, or we thought he had weapons of mass destruction, he was committing genocide. He was killing his own people by the thousands, if not millions. And when we went into Iraq, it wasn't just because of the weapons of mass destruction. It was stopping genocide. Now let me point out some more liberal Democrat left-wing hypocrisy. When Bill Clinton sent the military to Bosnia to stop the genocide by Slobodan Milosevic, he was hailed as a hero. He's stepping up for human rights. But when Bush sent the military in to stop the genocide of Saddam Hussein, he was a warmonger. The press willingly joined the Democrats in their efforts to turn public opinion against the war and against our president to make political points. It was just incomprehensible that they would do this in a time of war just to win an election. But that's exactly what they did. Remember Harry Reid in front of the United States Senate, the majority leader, telling us that the war is lost while our brave men and women are fighting this war. It was disgusting, and they are nothing but a bunch of damn left-wing, socialist, Marxist bastards. All of them. Now, I want to say something about my president, George W. Bush, who had the cojones to do the right thing in Iraq and to go in there and to clean out that rat's nest and to give Saddam Hussein the justice that he deserved. And make no mistake about it, the world is a better place because of what my president, George W. Bush, did in Iraq. Case closed. I don't want to hear any discussion about it because there is no discussion about it. The world is a better place without Saddam Hussein. Period. End of statement. Now, George W. Bush, he should have stood up for himself. He should have explained to the American people about the weapons of mass destruction. Why he didn't, I don't know. But that doesn't take away from what he has done in Iraq. Make no mistake about it. Obama will probably get credit for bringing the troops home, but George W. Bush won the war, and that is a fact. Now, I tell you this now, when news breaks out, my tirades break in, and I want to reiterate one last time, our troops were victorious, and they are heroes, and their sacrifices will never be forgotten, and the world is a better place because of what they did. So, welcome home, and congratulations. Until next time, this is your favorite cracker, Ronald Reagan, saying